Happy Sabbath. Let me tell you, we are back and trying to deal with all the technical issues right now. First, the broadcast, the internet, and now it is uh, praying for you as my husband tries to figure out what's the dealio here. Thank you for being here. Just give us a minute, 1 second, okay? Your patience. Each other, others' time to come.
Go ahead.
No, maybe it's because you put that up. No, this one.
Okay.
All right. No, that's not it. Okay.
We are having some serious feedback.
Wow.
All
We have never had that from this
right.
system, so I don't know.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't even know what's happening.
No,
So
just leave it where it is.
okay. So we're on 3 and 4.
All right. Go with this. Um, yes, as I was saying, we apologize for the late start as we try our best, guys, to come on and just be on time, but the enemy is busy. And so we're just asking that you pray for us. Understand this. All right. So just welcome to everyone. Come back in. I hope everyone can find their way back. Um, as we try to do an abbreviated version today, just till 5. And so, it's unfortunate that we are experiencing these issues, but we're going to go and just get started as we try and just put out the content that we have for today. One, my name is Lois. This is my husband, Anthony, and we are the host of Relationship. We dive into relationships through the Word of God, through the Bible. And we're so happy that you are here with us.
Yeah, we're delighted. I feel like my microphone is the issue.
It is. Is it in all the way?
I feel like okay, one of those things. I know it's my microphone. You could hear it. It's not yours.
Do like
I don't know. I maybe we could switch chords. I don't know, but we're just gonna have to work with it. That goes into that, goes into this. Is what it is. So hold on, guys. Just bear with me a little bit.
so. This week we're not with you last week, and we apologize for that too. One of our elders
Sure.
got sick suddenly, and so we had to attend to that and be there with the family. So we were not able to go online. And so we missed you guys, and we are just thankful that we're able to come on just for brief. We will be back, God's willing, next week in full force, where we can just, spend time together as we into the, issues of the heart. And our title, I think we're wrapping it up this week, correct? Is For You, part 3.
Yeah, we've been looking at trying to share with you guys a little bit on the subject. Um, is her desire for you? I don't know how we're gonna resolve this. Maybe I have to get another mic.
3.
Mine is
Go ahead.
check 1 2. That's yours.
All right, go up a little. All right.
Check
right there.
1 2. Check 1
Oh,
2. That's better. It's
Go
not
ahead,
as
talk.
bad. I just gotta talk in that mic. It's having all types of issues. Okay. Yeah, we've been looking at this subject, her desire, that about in Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. I think that's where we were. We're looking at desire for a man. And we explained all of that last week. If you have not seen the videos, I would encourage you to take a look at them on YouTube as we were. Um, yeah, just look at YouTube. I mean, we kind of explain everything where that is going and what you can learn from that issue.
Which one are you on? 3 or 1?
1.
Okay, talk to me because I'm not hearing.
Yeah. You're not hearing?
Go talk. I gotta hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm on 1. This
All
one
right,
is mine.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've been explaining, and a lot of the explanation about Genesis chapter 3, YouTube. Please check it out. I'm sure that you will kind of catch up from where we left off. So today we're going to talk about that just a little bit. We're going to close the program off. I'm not even sure. Should we do that? I guess we can go and do the Let's Talk real quickly.
If you have to finish the content, let's do that.
All right. So we're going to jump right in. Little technical difficulties with the program. This is the first time I'm ever encountering this. So this is kind of new. The camera's acting up. The sound system. Hear us out there. I think yours can go all the way up. Mine's just cannot. Those of you who are watching, I don't know who is watching out there, but if you can. All right, let's do what we're trying to do here for this afternoon. Thank you again for coming on. We're going to pray. But before I pray, there's just a lot going on this weekend. In fact, Lois and I are heading back to the church in about in another because we're going to funeralize one of our members' daughter who passed away. And so this morning we had to preach to the church and then do the program and then go back there to do the funeral. So that is really it's a lot going on this weekend. So bear with us. We're going to try and come back next week in full force, different, better. So just give us your attention, please. Don't go anywhere. We're going to thank you so much for your divine love and your mercies towards us. Throughout the bless us and be with us, God. Help us day by day with every passing moment to surrender our lives to you. Be with us. Wrap up this part of is her desire for you. May it be a blessing to those in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let's jump right into it. Last week we kind of, go through the program and we gave a full breakdown of what Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16 means and the different types of Genesis chapter 3 verse 16. And if I remember correctly, go back and watch the video. I'm telling you that there are different views concerning it, right? There are view that when the Bible says her desire is for you, means that her desire from then onwards would be to rule over her husband. That was one explanation. Okay? I can't take time to go through it, but there was another that somewhat picks up this idea that her desire will be to be with her husband. So and it's not rule over him, but be with him, like the normal desire. Then is leaning on the side that her desire would be to rule over him because of sin. But we put it in perspective. You have to go back and watch the video for what that was saying. Okay, so that's number one. There's something, I have some stats here because all the statistics out there be pushing in the direction that a woman really is fed up of a man and she wouldn't mind just dominate him, to be honest, to be on the honest side, because sin has taken, and so the marriage and the relationship is flipped upside down. Sin has caused women to bear children in pain. Sin has caused women to be subjected to her husband doing what? Ruling over her. And when God created the relationship in the first place, he created it to be a co-equal partnership. All right? She's supposed to be the man's helpmate. He's supposed to be her protector, her guide, her lover, her friend, her provider, protector and everything. But
Harmonious.
yes, yes.
Balance between the two.
Male and female. But sin usurped, so the relationship now between males and females are pretty problematic, pretty stressful if you ask us. It's not peaceful. There's just a lot going on in these relationships nowadays with men and women. But all the research that we have looked into is to say that women are leaning more towards being fed up, taking directions from a man. They are in the workforce more, they're making more money, they're more educated and stuff like that, okay? And we've even have who makes the decisions at home really are the women. In fact, women, when it comes to decisions, than men, right? 3% of women in the home makes decisions. That's a lot. That's a high.
That's a whole.
That's a lot. And man makes 26% of males are making the decision. It almost doubles. It's because 26 to 43%. There's literally a double in terms of more women are making the call in the home as opposed to the men. And that can put the relationship at a disadvantage. And I could see if women are making I could see where they would want to be the leaders in the home. Again, sinners kind of turn things up down a lot, right? You may ask me, what does this have to do with a woman's desire for men? Well, I think it feeds into the narrative that there is sufficient evidence that women are no longer willing in men the way they used to. And when I talk about investment, I'm talking about investment of being submissive, investment of being more, would take that to that man for him to navigate. There's sufficient evidence to say that is a change and a shift that has been happening in society when it comes to God's natural relationship. So if you have a shifting in terms of God's natural alignment for relationship, what you're going to have of upside down presentation. A woman is going to feel like she is she carry the money in, the house is hers. She makes more money. She has a consistent job. So she's going to want a piece of the pie in terms of rulership in the home. It seems because she's bringing in. She feels more empowered to rule. And so, that mess up kind of the idea of desire. To be honest with you, it's going to loot the space called desire, because now she's calling the shots. That means she probably say how many times you need to have sex, when you don't. There's a lot of things. Wow. It's going to be more the man's desire is going to be for the woman. It's going to be headed in the wrong direction. All right. So stuff like that you have to consider. So I thought to just wrap up this, I want to look in the Bible at, I want to look at a woman who is submissive or desires for her man versus a woman who is in control of a man, and show you what it looks like when a woman's desire is to rule over a man. The Bible is clear. The Bible do have those examples in there. So I want to turn to the Bible, and I want to turn to 1 Kings chapter 21. And remember now, Lois, we're 5 o'clock, folks, so bear with us. We got to jet out of here because we have a funeral. We've got to go funeralize one of our members who lost their child at a very young age. So we're praying for them. All right. So 1 Kings chapter 21. This is going to show a woman who loves to be in control. Her desire is to rule over her man. Believe me, the Bible is filled with everything you need, right? Everything you need. The Bible is filled with it. There's nothing that the Bible does not have. All right, so 1 Kings chapter 21. Again, let's read from 1 to 15. Please, Lois, if you could.
Sometime later, there was an incident involving a vineyard belonging to Naboth the Jezreelite. The vineyard was in Jezreel, close to the palace Ahab, king of Samaria. Ahab said, "Have your vineyard to use for a vegetable garden, since it is close to my palace. In exchange, I will give you a better vineyard, or if you prefer, I will pay you whatever it is worth." But Naboth replied, "The Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors." So Ahab went home, sullen and angry, because Naboth the Jezreelite had said, "I will not give you the inheritance of my ancestors." He lay on his bed, sulking, and refused to eat. His wife Jezebel came in and asked him, "Why are you so sullen? Why won't?" He answered her, "Because I said to Naboth the Jezreelite, 'Sell me your vineyard, or if you prefer, I will give you another vineyard in its place.' But he said, 'I will not give you my vineyard.'" Jezebel, his wife, said, "Is this how you act as king over Israel? Get up and eat. Cheer up. I'll get you the vineyard of Naboth." So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, placed his seal on them, and sent them to the nobles who lived in Naboth's city with him. In those letters she wrote, "A day of fasting, and seat Naboth in a prominent place among the people. But seat 2 scoundrels opposite him, and have them bring charges that he has cursed both God and the king. Then take him out and stone him to death." So the elders and nobles who lived in Naboth's city did as Jezebel directed in the letters she had written to them. They proclaimed a fast and seated Naboth in a prominent place among the people. Then 2 scoundrels came and sat opposite him and brought charges against Naboth before the people, saying, "Naboth has cursed both God and the king." So they took him outside the city and stoned him to death. Then they sent word to Jezebel, "Naboth has been stoned to death." As soon as Jezebel heard that Naboth had been stoned to death, she said to Ahab, "Get up and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite that he refused to sell you. He is no longer alive, but dead."
Okay. So here we have a woman who's what?
Crazy.
She's in total control, right?
She's crazy.
Her desire is power. She wants to have power. I mean, it seems like she bosses her husband around. She tells him what to do. She concocts the plan. She's the leader of the house. You could see that this is not a woman who is humble. This woman is very feisty. She's evil. And as you can see, her husband is mamby-pamby. And he allows her, because you could see that she is in charge. No doubt about it. So this is an example of a woman who desire is to be in control of a man. I think, stupid. He just didn't have
To
any
the point of setting the man up to die.
Yeah. I mean, she just didn't see her husband. And so her desire, you can see, is to rule over her husband. And she did that. She was not joking that she was in control of that relationship. No doubt about that in my mind. That's how she rolled. As you know, she liked to be in control. So the desire of a woman who is not obedient, who is, you know, masculine, and want to be is in control. Because if she was not in control, she could not have done those things. So this is not a submissive woman. This is not a woman. This is a woman who tells a man what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And you do have some women out there like that. They'll tell you what to do, when to do, you know what I mean, when to do, what to do, and how to do what they want you to do. They call the shots. You know, a lot of women out there, they love to wear the pants. They glow with that. And there's some men who simply hand the pants to them and tell them, you know, just wear it. It's okay. And you could see that this king handed the pants to her, you know, and tell her to wear the pants. Do what you got to do. And maybe there's some men out there who are cool with that, to be honest with you. There might be some men out there who are cool with that. They can deal with that. They love to. But that's not the way God intended it to be. I promise you. God did not intend it that a woman should be, a man should be in charge of the home. And that really fuels, when a man is in charge of the relationship, it really sets the woman's desire for him. It really does that. So that's an example. That's one example. Let's go to example number 2. Now this is a woman's desire is, you can see her desire is for a man. Genesis chapter 24. Right? And Genesis chapter 24 talks about Isaac and Rebekah. And and I think if we're at 24, and where's 24? Genesis 24:58. Where's 58?
I mean, we have to start before 58.
All right, so you could start at, go back on the other page. Oh yeah, so you guys, let me see. Okay, we could start right.
Genesis 24, and I'm starting from 2. When Abraham's servant heard what they said, he bowed down to the ground. The servant brought out gold and silver jewelry and articles of clothing and gave them. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. Then he and the men were with him ate and drank and spent the night there. When they got up the next morning, me on my way to my master. But her brother and her mother replied, remain with us 10 days or so, then you may go. But he said to them, do not detain me, now that the Lord has granted success to my journey, so I may go to my master. Then they said, let's call the young woman and ask her about it. Rebekah and asked her, will you go with this man? I will go, she said. So they sent their sister Rebekah on her way, along with her nurse and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, our sister, may you increase to the thousands upon thousands. May your offspring possess the cities of their enemies.
Now notice, you have to Genesis 24, maybe starting from 23. And you will realize that Rebekah is very willing and obedient. She's listening. She's going. After all, she could have said, I'm not going to go with no man who I don't know. I'm not leaving my house. I'm not leaving my parents. But she was very obedient. She was very godly. Her desire was to maintain the order of the family that God so intended. Her desire was not to rule over a man and to be argumentative with the man servants. In fact, she started to be submissive to Abraham's servant immediately. Before she even get to her be submissive.
Before she met him.
Before she, yeah. So she's submissive to, Abraham's servant. Go ahead.
No, I don't.
Excuse me. So It kind of tells you about the type of woman she is. She's not combative, unruly, coronation market-ish.
And she must have had know that she was going to be safe with this man and his servants, because and just goes on a journey, you know, and just thing is going to be okay. She's leaving her family and everything.
Absolutely.
And so, kudos, no.
Well, not many women will do stuff
Yeah.
like that, to be honest with you. Some women are going to question, where am I going? Come meet me. Where's my luggage? I can't leave my bag.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a beautiful story. If you want to read the whole chapter, I advise you to do that, because
Yeah.
it goes on and it talks about when they met. It's a beautiful love story.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, too, how she covered herself when she met him. She wasn't dressed crazy nor half covered herself. She was very, very humble and filled with humility. She was a Proverbs. She was maintaining God's standard in terms of what it looks like for a woman to really desire a man, obey a man, and be with a man. Rebecca is a quintessential example of a Proverbs 31 woman, a woman who loves her man, desires her man, is obedient to the family order and the marital order that God set up. I know this is
And
not
love
absolutely
of Isaac.
absolutely, and
Because if I can just read
yeah.
this part that says, this is met her now, he says in verse 66, then the servant told Isaac all he had done at his mother, Sarah, and he married Rebekah. So she became his wife, and he was comforted after his mother's death.
So you see the transition, how God intended it, right? Once a man leaves out of his mother's house, he's supposed to go into a space where he finds a continued motherly, wifey, comfort. There are some
safe.
elements that, the man finds of the woman. So the reason why I read Rebecca, the story with Rebecca for you, is because she reminder of what it is for a woman to desire a man, to be comfortable with a man and not being combative with a man, not wanting to rule over him. We see her rule over, think about that, rule over her husband to the point where she took people out, to continue that rulership. Still have those, still have Jezebels of today.
Oh, yes.
They just have on lipstick and more makeup. And so, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of Jezebels today. A lot of men like her husband, who is just hand rulership of the family over to the woman. You should never, as a man, the family over to a woman. It is wrong. It is out of order. It is confusion when you do something like that. A man ought to stand at the head of the family. You have to stand at the head of your family and lead. And you have to make sure that you are leading that family under God, that you are praying, that you're taking your family to the altar, that you're worshiping with them. You've got to lead. This is the kind of husband that Rebecca had. Isaac, his father, taught him well. And it really talks really loud about the influence that a father
Yep.
has on a son.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He never strayed away from what he was taught, even from his mom too, Yeah. But
because he saw his father loved his mother.
yeah. Yeah. He learned
Yeah.
it.
Abraham loved Sarah.
And isn't that as children you learn what you see?
Absolutely.
Each day.
Absolutely. Isaac saw and loved his mother. And it is important for a man to teach his son how to love a woman. Record that for me. It is important, let me say it again. It is important that a man teaches his son to how to love a woman. A man is going to love his wife or his girlfriend based on how he sees his father loving his mother.
That's right.
That's important. If he sees his father abusing his girlfriend or his wife, chances are he's going to the woman in his life. So, men, it is important that we set the right example and love our wives and our girlfriends and our fiancés. So men who are looking at the man, the upcoming men who are looking at, the man in the family, can in a way that is holistic. That is holistic and beneficial to their youthhood. So yeah, that is really true. All right, we don't have much time, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about this idea. I'm going to ask this question. So men, what do women desire in a man? Well, a woman desire a lot in a man. Believe me, she's always desiring more and more and more. The desire for a woman in terms of a man, it doesn't stop with one set of principles. It's an ongoing building relationship. So each day she's looking for more, looking at that man. And as he moves in a godly way, her desire for him grows. It's not just one thing I'm set on good godly desires. But so what do women desire? Let me see if I could give you a few things in 8 minutes. We got 8 minutes to give a few things. And we aren't going to leave all here. We was just wrapping it up. Number one, a woman desires a man who completely gives himself over to God. That's very important for a woman. A sensible woman, an unworldly woman. Now, a worldly woman don't care if the man is in God or not. She's just winging it. She will care more, rather, about living. Can he satisfy me? Can he buy me the can he take does he have his own business?
Does he have a home?
Does he have a home? Stuff like that. Yeah. And there ain't nothing wrong with that, but really based in materialism. Yeah. It's different from a woman who her desires flowing much more out of a spiritual space.
You're looking at the
character of the man.
Yeah.
So the sensible women, because it's not every woman out there is sensible. Believe me, discriminatory. I'm not being crazy. I'm not trying to put women down. I'm saying you have women sensible, crazy, and you have men also who are crazy and irresponsible. And a woman, I believe, desires for a man. I think women love men who are completely committed to God. I think that's a reasonable, statement to make, that most women would rather have a man who is committed to God. You all text me and tell me no, but I think it's a safe thing when a man is completely committed to be committed to his relationship and committed to his woman. He's not going to cheat on her because he has a relationship with God. So that's number one. Number two, 5 minutes to do this. A woman desires a man who can communicate well. Talk to her. This is important. A woman desires a man out there. Men, listen up. A woman desires a man who can communicate very well. You can't just be a bad communicator. And if you don't know how to communicate, you gotta learn how to communicate. Take classes. Read books. Talk to your friends. Women love men who can talk. Talk to them. Talk to them. This is what a man does to a woman. Talk to her. And when he talks to her, he calms her down. He reassures her. There is something built in us that when we speak to a woman the right way, she responds in kind. So a woman loves a man who can communicate. Desires a man when he's considerate. Men, we ought to be considerate. Loves a man who is considerate. Men, we need to be considerate. Sometimes we just feelings rather into consideration, and we do not take the woman's feeling into consideration. It tells us essentially that we are the boss. And sometimes, when you have a boss just do things in his own time. He's inconsiderate of the workers. And sometimes the relationship is his way or the highway because he is the breadwinner. He's the man. Well, that doesn't a woman. A sensible woman wants a man or desires a man who is what?
Avril says,
right?
women connected to God desire the same in a man. This is
Absolutely. Absolutely. 4, what I've found out in my research is desires to have men who are domestically helpful. They share in the risk of the living space. The man is not just detached from that.
That's right.
He shares in helping with the dishes, helping her cook, watching the kids, you know, doing the laundry from time to time, spread the bed, make sure that she's not working herself to death.
death.
The fact is, if she's working herself to death, she is no good to you, brother. She's just no good. She's tired. And this way, she's not going to want to sleep with you. She's not going to want to be intimate with you because she's tired. And at some point, she gets resentful of you because you're not domestically or domesticated, connected. You're concerned. Women want men who are domestically minded. Domestically. That's 4, 5. Women want men who are accepting of them. You're not trying to change the woman, accepting of who she is. Women want men who are accepting of who they are. Now, does it mean that the woman is a tyrant and you must accept her as that?
Absolutely
No,
not.
that's not what it is. But just in terms of all her flaws, her character defects, and work with her. Be considerate. Don't talk her down. Don't kind of undermine her or make her feel stupid. Women want men who are accepting of their faults and failures, accepting of who they are, what they bring to the table. Some men, as they get into the relationship with the woman, they want to change them. Oh, they must put this on, put that on. They don't look good. They criticize how society really has set it up, and it's really sad. So learn to accept a woman, and she will desire you every single time. Independent, believe it or not. A woman don't like a man who is dependent on her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You ought to be independent. A man who is independent can set the standards, can go make that money for the family, or go build that house, or not sitting at home waiting on her to do everything. He's a go-getter. A woman loves go-getter. He's going to go out there and make it work. He will fail 7 times or 70, get up again and try. He's independent. He doesn't depend on his father or his mother or a daddy's boy. He's a man in all its shape, size, and form. He's independent. He works with her to make things happen. All right. A woman who is very respectful. Am I right about it? Yeah, who's respectful to her humanity. Respect her. What we got?
5.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. And quickly, a woman desires a man who is a good listener. A woman likes a man emotionally available. And then 10 but not least, a woman loves who shares different levels of compatibility. I wish I could expound upon that. It's just there, but different levels of compatibility. We're compatible here, we're compatible here, in some relationship, they're just compatible on one level, but the other levels, they are not, and it creates and friction and discontentment. A woman always, I think, compatible, sexually compatible, communicatively compatible, you name it, domestically compatible, educationally compatible, at least on some levels.
Not saying that
not
you
all the
have
levels,
to have
yes.
your PhD.
Right, and not all the levels will connect, line up as they need to, but most things they should have in common. You just can't have nothing, have a really boring and unexciting relationship. And, relationships like that are destined to fail. Let's get out of here now. We've got to go do this thing. Our minds are right now on this particular member, mourning rather the loss of their loved ones. We're sorry we couldn't stay a little longer with you, but we're going to come back next, ready, boot up, pick up, lift up, gathered up. We're going to come back next week with another edition of Relationships 1-on-1. We want to thank you for listening, man. Thank you for dense version. We just want to come on here and say, hey, we remember you. Do you remember us? We're still come back because last week just a lot of things going on with our members. You know, as Lois said, one of our elders had to go by his side. And so keep us and our church family in prayer. God bless. Watching Relationships One-on-One. My name is Anthony Richards, and this is my lovely wife, Lois Richards. Until we love you,
week.
have a wonderful week. God bless.